Hello! So Apex Legends was released very recently, and today I've put together a list of 10 different tips to help you out in game. Some of these are pretty complex, and some are dead simple, so there should be a good mix in here for both brand new and more experienced players alike. So number 1, you can move your character while in item menus. And you can also look around while reviving allies at beacons. So this is incredibly useful, and really you should always be doing this since it makes you much harder to be hit through windows, out in the open, wherever really. Just keep pressing your movement keys while managing your menu. It's a neat little bit of tech that you'll want to get down. So number 2, when you press tab or go to the loadout screen, it tells you which items aren't compatible with your weapons. There is no point in filling your inventory slots up with a bunch of shotgun ammo that you don't need or scopes that you can't use on your weapons. So if you hit tab, a small no symbol will appear to the top left of any items in your inventory that you cannot actually use currently. So drop the scopes and ammo for your team if they need it, and only keep that stuff if you're planning on using it for specific weapons later on in the match. Number 3, people can't shoot through Gibraltar, the tank guy's shield, but his team also can't shoot through it either. So I'm including this one since I certainly wasn't expecting this after playing games like Overwatch. This means that yes, your grenade will bounce off and stay inside the shield if you throw them from inside the shield. Yes, I may have done this a couple of times and hard trolled my teams by accident. However, it's important to remember because you can use an enemy Gibraltar's own shield against him by running in with a shotgun and shield dancing to victory. So next up, the colour of damage numbers that are appearing above the enemy that you're shooting tell you what level of armour they're wearing. So for example, if you're seeing purple damage numbers, that means that the opponent is wearing purple level 3 armour. This is a super easy way to help you decide whether you're gonna stay in the fight or try and duck out quick if they're much more built than you. So these numbers will change colour as you shoot, since you will be wearing down their armour as you go. Dead player item boxes also work in a similar way. If their drop to death item box is purple, that indicates that the chest has at least a purple level item inside. So next, the blue circle pings on your minimap show you where the next supply drop will land. Supply drops can sometimes give crazy loot, and so obviously everyone and their second aunt Bertha are going to be looking out for these bad boys. It's common to set up traps around these drops if you can get there quickly, so use the blue pings on your map to determine whether it's worth going for or not. There are 2 areas in particular you should consider dropping at, or at the very least being particularly wary of when dropping. First, there's the flying supply ship that flies around at the beginning of a match, and you usually have to land a pretty precise drop to land onto it every time. You can also see where the supply ship will land, since it'll appear as a blue ship outline on your map. The second area of the map you should focus on is the hot zone, air quotes. There is a massive blue circle that will appear on the map at the start of a match that also has a lot more loot drops there than usual. Both of these areas I mentioned will obviously be hotly contested since they will be dropping some very good loot consistently, so it's high risk, high reward. Your slide allows you to move much quicker down slopes than just running. Seems pretty obvious, but there are lots of situations, especially if you're going with a hard rush shotgun build, where sliding into your opponents will be much more efficient for covering ground and potentially be life-saving. When reviving allies at beacons, it's sometimes a good idea to drop them one of your weapons and some ammo, since when they respawn with nothing. No guns, no armor, nada. just to ensure that you can get to a location with some leftover guns, drop one of your own, lead them there as soon as you can. Enemies will be able to see when this is happening, so you're in a decently vulnerable state when returning beacons and reviving people in general. You can open overworld apex boxes, the little spiders that drop loot, with a melee attack instead of shooting them, so that you don't alert nearby enemies to your presence as easily. These tiny loot spiders tend to spawn near corners of rooms and against wall edges, and they make a very slight but noticeable noise when you get close. They do sometimes drop some pretty good loot, so the last thing you want to do is alert everybody nearby where you are. Your knockdown shield can be used to shield your teammates mid-battle, although I wouldn't always advise it. So knockdown shields are the shield that you use when you've been knocked down by an enemy. It's in the name. You can find different levels of knockdown shield too, and these can obviously block more damage the higher their quality. Well, if you get knocked down in a fight, you sometimes might want to use your body as an active shield to allow your ally to win the fight. This is especially useful in situations such as when you're one of the last 2 squads left and your teammate has the chance to clutch the win. Again, take this tip with a grain of salt because it's not a good idea every single time, but do be aware of it so that you can capitalize in those niche scenarios and hopefully take your team to victory. So these are just 10 random tips that I put together just by playing and talking to other people in game. And by no means are these the only tips out there, so feel free to let me know if you found any of your own to share. I have had more fun with the game than I expected to so far, so who knows, maybe more Apex Legends content in future? Well, for now we'll see, but good luck out there and enjoy the brand new game.